Good morning, this is TCR, TroyCommunityRadio.com. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN for David Denoyer on TCTV. It's time for the Mayor's Report with Mayor Michael Beamish. Good morning.
Good morning, Clint. Good morning, David.
Good to have you here. Looks like kind of a mild week we've had this week, especially this was our last week of summer.
That's right.
The 22nd.
When this show is being aired, we are now officially in the autumn-fall season.
Yes, we are.
So, but we've had some really good August weather. It could have been a lot more humid and a lot more in terms of heat. We could have had a little more heat. But I think it was a wonderful August for us, and we certainly had a lot to do with the Lincoln train that I think we've talked about many times. And certainly a hit. They look at well over 15,000 people that came, actually went through, but many people just came to be a part of the experience. So who knows how many total people we had. We do know we had a lot of school-age children coming through, and that was a good educational lesson for them. So that took place, and then of course this past weekend, Taste of Troy. And boy, when you say Taste of Troy, it was a taste of Troy. Not only we had a little weather.
We had a little taste of Mother Nature too.
But we weathered that storm. We had the Alzheimer's walk to end Alzheimer's.
That amazed me. The amount of people that turned out in a downpour of rain.
I was my wife and I were two of those folks. And but you know what? It's the cause. And the walk is just symbolic of the research that's going on and the efforts that are going on and the care that it takes. And that extends to the families and the friends and the relatives of those that do have that terrible disease of Alzheimer's. But it was a good thing. We dried out. We came back. It did still have a little rain during the beginning of the Taste of Troy. But the vendors were out, the food was great, it was a wonderful experience. We still saw Waco aircraft from their flying over top.
Yep.
We had the second story tours, which the weather broke for that. That was beautiful to walk around and see what's going on in downtown Troy. That was all in one day.
Yeah.
Plus the activities that were going on, sporting activities going on. So, in Troy, it was the place to be this past weekend. And, of course, as you and I look out, it's a beautiful day. And
lots of sunshine.
Yeah, downtown is certainly a vibrant place to be.
Starting to see the trees turn a little bit here, too.
We are going to, and we probably ought to talk a little bit about that later on.
Okay.
About some of the things that we have coming up.
Hey, you had council this week.
Council was met on the regular Monday. It normally meets on the first and third Mondays at 7 o'clock at City Hall. And so this was our regular scheduled meeting. Didn't have a lot on the agenda. In fact, we had no resolutions. We had two ordinances that we needed to deal with, and one was a rezoning of an in-lot that was currently an M2, which is light industrial, and they wanted to rezone to an OC1, which is an office commercial zoning, and that was recommended by our planning commission, and it went to the council committee, and the council committee brought it to the full council, and really we had a hearing, I think September 8th, at that Tuesday council meeting, and there was nobody for or against, and nobody spoke at the public hearing. So it went to committee, and the committee moved forward with that rezoning. And last night at the council meeting, they looked and they saw that was consistent with the intent of our zoning requirements and regulations. It's a better fit in terms of the residential that surrounds it. So council passed it 9-0. We had all council members present. That was the one piece of legislation. The other piece of legislation really dealt with an expansion of Arca Brazen. A business.
And we'll take expansions.
And we will take expansions, but to do that we had to vacate an easement along Corporate Drive. It had no, the the easement needed to be vacated to have the permit so they can move forward with their project. Needed to be emergency because of the purchase of property, and we just saw no need to stand in that project's way. So Arc Abrasive is constructing a new facility on Corporate Drive. So that's a good thing for Troy, and council supported the emergency legislation to vacate the easement along Corporate Drive to allow them to move forward with their project.
Well, when you hear the word expansion, it sounds like more jobs.
You know, everybody talks about the jobs, Clint. We've talked about it. You were there at the job fair and the career fair that we had recently, and you know, there are many, many businesses looking for good employees. You know, we talk about the job market. Well, we have businesses right here in our community that are looking for good people
and growing
and expanding. So not only do we have the jobs available, but we also have the investment that's coming into our community as well. So we're positioned very well. But as you and I and David, we've all talked in the past, we got to have the workforce.
Yes.
We got to bring people into our community, which is why we've been trying to build on cultural activities, recreational activities, developing our riverfront, anything that would encourage families to come, live, work, play in our community and stay and take on the jobs that we see for the future of Troy.
Absolutely. Well, and with TroyCareerConnect.com.
Oh yes, thank you for bringing that forward.
You know, there's a great resource to go to see what jobs are available here in Troy.
Well, all that plays into having the workforce that we need to have and quality of workforce that will enhance our community even further. And that brings me up to, as you know, on the northeast quadrant of our downtown area, we are using the Sadelman building, formerly David Shoe Stores.
I still see the David Shoe sign rotating.
But that northeast quadrant building now is going to be the home of the ABC's Community Connection Center.
And that's open now.
And it's open. Now, the hours are flexible. Usually they coincide with some event that's taking place to downtown, but we have a steering committee that's manning that connection center. The idea is to promote our downtown, to promote our community, as we are quarterfinalists in America's Best Communities. We're in the process right now developing a strategic plan with initiatives for our future. We'll submit that November 6th to the committee that's looking at all the quarterfinalists in hopes that we will become a semifinalist as we move towards becoming a finalist, which has a financial reward. And one of the initiatives that I know we're going to be pursuing is how do we bring that workforce into our community to take the jobs of tomorrow. But also we're looking at a community calendar, something that coordinates all the activities. As you and I, David, have talked about many times, you know, we have a lot going on in Troy, and a lot of people sometimes miss some of those things because they don't know which one to attend.
And there's so much happening.
So one of the initiatives is to develop a community calendar so that people can click on, find out all the activities on any given day, and then make choices from there. So the Community Connection Center is located on the northeast quadrant of our downtown. We encourage people to come in. There are surveys to be taken. That survey is being promoted by the Leadership Troy Group as their initiative to try to get some feedback. What's great about Troy? What can be enhanced in Troy? What could be improved in Troy? But mostly, you know, what are the things that make Troy special? And then we will take those, tabulate those, and use them in our next review session that we send on in November to hopefully get us to the semifinals.
Now, here's something, and it's kind of on that what makes Troy Troy. I've been meaning to bring up for 3 weeks, and I always forget when I get in, but when I come in the morning and I'm coming down Main Street towards the downtown, something new has been catching my eye, And it's not something new. It's actually something old in a new place.
I bet I know what you're going to say.
It's the clock from
It's
the
the
bridge.
clock. And here's the thing. It's functional.
Yes.
It's actually keeping real time.
It's keeping the real time. It's lit. It looks incredible with the courthouse and the clock and the backdrop there. And then you see that and you know it's come off the walk bridge there at Hobart. So that piece of history put back into play.
Well, we should give a lot of credit and kudos to the commissioners of Miami County. You know, it was theirs to do with what they wish, and they saw fit to keep that piece of history alive and well. In fact, if you remember where that clock, it was there as a historical landmark.
You
but
saw
it wasn't functional.
No.
They've got it working. They've got it highlighted. It's something that you see. I'm glad you brought that up. So,
like I say, I keep meaning to talk about it on the radio and bring that up with you, and it always escapes me. But this morning I saw it and I thought, now I'm talking about that today.
well, I'm glad you did, Clint. And again, that's part of that history of Troy, that legacy of the Hobarts and what they brought to town, and that's some of the thinking that we're trying to do when we even think about the riverfront development, is to keep that legacy alive and well as we move forward, and as we still have that green space at the ITW Hobart Brothers property. We want to look at what's the best fit and how can we enhance the whole downtown look, the whole community in general. So I'm glad you brought that up, and I noticed that too. I like the highlight. I like the functionality now of the clock is working.
It looks sharp. It just really looks sharp on the building, and I can tell that they're finishing off the rest of the project there where the walk bridge was taken down off. So look forward to seeing that all.
We are partners.
Up.
We are partners, city, county, all of us in the community working together to make Troy just a great place to live, work, and play.
All right. We were talking about fall coming and leaves starting to turn downtown. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Unfortunately. And that leaves us to the curbside recycling, and leaves are going to be falling soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping to bring Jerry Mullins in for one of our programs where he can talk about recycling in detail, some of the new features that we're going to be bringing to the citizens of Troy. But it also, autumn brings the leaves down, and we always have leaf pickup. And just to give you a little flavor of recycling, no extra charge to citizens, but it's a different service to provide a more efficient, effective, and safer service with big 65-gallon recycling bins that are on rollers. So, you know, somebody like me can roll it out and roll it back, and you can just put your recycling. And I know we've sent out, Rumpke sent out flyers that talk about what you can put in those bins, and it's going to be picked up, as it always has, at the regular day your trash pickup is. So nothing's changing there. The bins will start to be placed on the week of September 28th, I believe.
Okay.
September 28th, you'll start to, you can put out the old bins if you want to get rid of them, and they'll pick those up and set a 65-gallon cart there so that you can have that to roll in and out for recycling. The trash pickup will be continuing as is. It'll be on the same day, so nothing changes there. So we're looking at that as an enhanced feature.
Oh, absolutely.
With that comes bugs. We know there's going to be different issues, and we're trying to deal with that. If people have questions, they can call our central maintenance facility and share those questions and concerns, and we'll try to address those. But anything new is going to take a while to work out the bugs, and I just ask everybody to realize that this is an effort to really enhance recycling, to encourage more recycling to take place.
They're so much handier to work the bin, and the fact that it's got a lid can close. Now this stops. A lot of people put bugs
and animals,
but the critters that could get into it. But also, if it rains overnight and you got a soggy bin and you've got paper or cardboard that's that's
Good.
sitting out. Now, it's a way to contain everything.
Thank you, Clint. That was a good promo. I appreciate that, too. And then we got leaf pickup. Right now, it's fall weather permitting, and it's when the leaves turn. Every season is a new season, and we never know. But we're planning to start the process of picking up leaves the first week of October, October 6th. As people, and I think I'll have Jerry come and explain the process a little better. You and I know it. Basically, we want to bring the leaves out to the curb and leave a gap so that the water, if it rains, goes into the storm sewers.
And keep the branches
separate.
And all of that separate than your pile of leaves.
So we'll see if Jerry can come and share. He's pretty much the street foreman in charge of that whole project, so he can talk about the recycling a little more. He can also talk about the leaf pickup, but leaf pickup first part of October.
Okay. Well, I also see that the cemetery cleanup has started at Riverside and Rose Hill cemeteries, and everything needs to be, all the decorations and such should be out by October 14th. That way the cemetery crew can get in and get everything cleaned up.
And then I think we can start in November sometime.
November 15th, you can put your flowers back out.
And certainly pay tribute to your loved ones. But, it gives us a chance to reset as well in the fall season. So I appreciate that promo, Clint, for sharing that so people can get out between now and October, 14th, I believe.
Yes.
And get the old, so we can clean up, and then in November we can, celebrate individual lives.
All right. Anything else that you'd like to add this morning?
Wow, we covered a lot. We covered a lot. We always do. We always find things, and that's good. It just shows the vibrancy of our community and the things that are going on. So I guess I would just close by, again, we should be very proud to be a quarterfinalist in America's Best Communities, and I hope and encourage people to showcase their town through the survey that they can share, so they are a contributor to us moving forward as a hopeful semifinalist.
Absolutely. And,
thank you, Clint. Thank you, David, for allowing us to always do this regular show and to showcase what Troy's all about.
Well, thank you for coming in, Mayor.
Thank you.
This has been the Mayor's Report with Mayor Michael Beamish. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN for David Denoyer on TCT TV.